Peace, peace. What's going on, everybody? This is your boy Vibe One. Six is behind the camera today, but you will be hearing his voice coming from the clouds, asking questions. This is the Now I'm Talking About Radio show. Back once again, and you know what I have to do each and every time we start this thing off. Shout out to everybody on the KY side. That's Covington, Newport, Erlanger, Bellevue, Campbell County, Burlington. Did I say Florence? If I did not say it again. All surrounding areas, peace and love to the Natty. So we back once again, like I said, and today we have a special guest just because of what she does in the field that she's in, and then it's a special guest because she's somebody that I've known for years. And so every time I get to have somebody on the show that I grew up with or known for a long time and from the KY side, I jump on that opportunity. But today we have with us Lavetta Tevis. We want to introduce you to her, let her tell you what we are, what this place represents, and what it represents to her, and we're gonna go on from there. But everybody, welcome, Miss Lavetta Tevis. So, like I said, I guess we'll start out with where we are, where it's at, what part of the city we are in. And then kind of go from there in terms of how long you've been here and all that type of stuff. So where are we?
We are at Florence Strength and Conditioning. We're located in Florence, Kentucky. It's basically a powerlifting gym, but I'm the only Olympic lifter here. I've been here since last April. So, yeah.
For people who, a lot of people know about weightlifting and the term. But when you say powerlifting, what is that specifically dealing with in terms of weightlifting?
So basically, powerlifting is 3 lifts, and Olympic lifting is what I do is 2 lifts. So powerlifting is deadlift, back squat, and bench. So and also Olympic lifting is just basically we do the snatch and the clean and jerk. Yeah, so it's Olympic style lifting. So this is what you would see in the Olympics.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe later on, not using any weights or something like that, you might be able to. Can you feel like demonstrating what each one of those would look like? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we'll get into that later. Yeah. So cool. We was hoping that we would be able to get you.
Oh yeah.
Give us a little instructions. So cool. So what I want to do now is, since told where we are and what it's about, we're gonna take it way back. So I guess start from the beginning, where you were born, where you were raised, and take us up to. I'll stop you if we need to stop, but I'll let you get on the road in terms of your upbringing and where you come from and everything. So you're gonna explain to everybody where Lavetta comes from and who she is leading up to now.
So I was born in Richmond, Kentucky. It's the town of where Eastern Kentucky University is. So I lived there till I was around 4, and then I moved to Northern Kentucky at 4, basically. So I've been here ever since. Grew up in Covington, and yeah. So I went to John G. Carlisle in Covington, and then I ventured off to Covington Holmes High School, where I kind of started my academic and athletic career.
Yeah, and I remember, you know how sometimes you might see people, because Covington is pretty small, but it's still a lot of people for it to be small. You know what I mean? There's a lot of baby making and all that stuff going on in them early 70s and all that or whatever. So, but you can see a bunch of different people that you know faces or whatever, but you don't know them because that's just not your set of friends that you hang around or whatever. And I remember where I lived at was on the border of east side. You go across the bridge that was right by my house. It was considered the west side. And if y'all see the interview that we did with Basil Lewis on West 10th Street, it's all in that same area. So I just remember coming out and getting on the bus to catch the bus to go to Holmes. I was going to First District. And then Lavetta would be walking past, sometimes by herself, sometimes with a friend or something, just walking by. And it was just, it was like, how you doing, like for years. And then get to high school, Covington Holmes High School, and then I'm playing basketball. I'm like a couple years before her.
Yes.
supposed to be 3. I know I stuck in the 5th grade.
So did I. So
Did you?
we're all good.
Yeah, so we still ended up being in the same distance away from each other. But anyway, I played basketball. She played basketball. You played volleyball too?
So I played basically 4 sports in high school. So I did cross country 1 year. I did volleyball like 3 years, and basketball and track.
Basketball, yeah. I always forget track. I always forget track.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, looking at the teams that the girls basketball team, and I don't know if I caught too many. I caught a couple of volleyball games, and of course the track team, because I was a part of the track team as well. So I always saw the number one thing I think I could say I saw about you in those different sports was like the dedication, the determination, because all of y'all that knows the group, my group Watusi Track, y'all seen the last interviews that we did. Y'all remember X with the fro. Basically, Lavetta lived on the next street around the corner from X. So she has to walk past X house to get to the basketball court. Just walking, dribbling basketball. You know what I'm saying? You see, a lot of times, sometimes you don't see the same intensity from a young lady playing sports that you might see as a dude. I remember sleeping with the basketball. I was like die hard basketball fanatic. I loved it. But you can see when you see somebody that's kind of like-minded or whatever. So like I said, I can remember the determination and all that from her early on, and she had the skills and everything to go along with it. So when you get through elementary, John G, Carlisle, and then you get to Holmes, which did you have a favorite sport out of all the ones that you did, or were they all equally?
Growing up, basketball. My dad's younger brother, he would take me out on the court. Of course, dust me every time when we go. But I think just because of his influence, it kind of pushed basketball as priority number 1 for me. But I loved basketball and volleyball the same. Just because of the intensity of volleyball,
Yeah.
But basketball, just because defense was my thing. So, but I would probably say basketball and volleyball are probably on the same level.
Same level.
Yeah.
And you played. Did you play forward in basketball?
Yes.
What was your position in volleyball? Or do they have
outside? I was outside, and high school was more outside, but college it was more middle. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you I don't know how you can make that. Is there any way to kind of make that relate to somebody if they can only picture it in basketball terms, like the equivalent to a point guard on a volleyball team would be this, or equivalent to a forward.
Gotcha.
On basketball would be.
Gotcha. Okay, so my position, just taking middle for instance, if I played middle, that would be considered your center for basketball.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you're as a point guard for basketball, that would be your center.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're the coach, the quarterback of the team. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So get through. Matter of fact, I think one of your teams, the first or the only team for Holmes to go down
first.
The first. And to go down state for the state tournament.
Yes.
And that was a big deal. If you made it, you passed. If you won the regions, you won the districts first. You won the regions, and you knew you were going down state to play in the tournament. You don't know until you go.
Right.
You're gonna get treated like Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5. I remember when we went down, and I went down in '88, and then again in '90. You get police escorted everywhere you go. If you're going to get lunch, you know what I mean. You definitely getting escorted to the arena or whatever. So when y'all went down state, what year was that?
93.
93. Any other what stuck out to you as some memorable things that happened while you were down there? And where did y'all go to? Was it Lexington or Louisville?
We went to Frankfurt.
Frankfurt. Okay.
Yeah.
So what were some of the memorable moments or memorable things that happened while you were down there?
Well, actually, before we even got down there, it was the fact that we won the 9th region district, And then we knew that the team we were up against for the regional tournament, we knew that they were undefeated. So we already had a lot of fear going into the locker room. I can remember it plain as day. You could hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
Because we just knew mentally we were defeated. Because this team, you know, they were unstoppable.
Right.
But not knowing, being that age, that, you know, on any given day, a good team can go down.
Exactly.
And that's what happened.
Yeah.
So, but just getting geared up to go that actual day when we were packing the bus and headed down to Frankfurt, it was just like people came from all over, the teachers and principals, they were all out there. It was just, you know, we were treated like superstars because it was a major accomplishment. That was the first year for that school and for the girls' team to go downstate.
Yeah.
So whether we won or not, it was a big deal.
Big deal. And the send-offs at the school,
yes,
they send you leave while all the other kids are still in school. So
yes,
they make everybody come out of the rooms, and you sit in Holmes High School, it looks like a castle.
Yeah.
And when you come in off the main street, it's just like a long driveway from the beginning of the school to the end. So you just imagine a building, even though some of them were connected, but essentially like 1, 2, 3 buildings on one side, and then like 2 buildings in the whole gymnasium on the left. So it could be seriously, I know they were seriously back when y'all left.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, so how did y'all do once y'all got to the state tournament? How did y'all do? Was y'all able to get past the first round, or what ended up happening?
So we played against Woodford County, I believe. It was a game for a minute, but then Woodford County took off. They just had, tools we didn't have. They had, maybe speed.
Yeah.
But, the team that we had veterans that had been playing together for years, and that's what you need to go downstate, the team that gels. But, we did the best we could do, and we got stopped at the first round. But the whole experience was just, priceless.
Yeah, the experience is ridiculous.
Yeah.
The experience, because was you about to say?
No, I just had a quick question. With you playing so many sports, how did you balance all of those and then still had to do homework?
Yeah, it was tough, because I never really went home after school.
Yeah.
After any day, I was always in the gym, or I was always on the track. So, I had fair grades, which I still was able to get by. I was still able to get an athletic scholarship. So, I just studied hard as I could. I even worked on the weekends, days that we didn't have games and stuff. So when I'm determined to do something, I'm going to do it. So there's going to be obstacles that come away. And my parents, my mom and dad, they were supportive. They would come to the games when they could, make sure I had, a good hot meal or whatever, whatever. But I've just been driven from the get-go. Yeah.
Would you have changed anything when you look back? Would you have dropped the sport or maybe spent more time studying?
Only thing I would have changed was to have this in my life. And we had limited weights, and that would have been the bigger difference. I may have made it to a D1 school. I was still able to go to school and get an education on scholarship, but just going to a bigger school, probably more opportunities. But I wouldn't change anything. Having this now, I'm fortunate. And to be doing it at the age 46, fortunate, yeah. So blessed.
Right.
Yeah.
That's I was going to chime in on the determination thing. That's something like if anybody that knows her and you have to give like attributes to her, that's definitely one of the attributes. Because like she said, when you playing sports like that and you playing multiple sports, ain't no coming home right after school. Mm-hmm. It's just done. Mm-hmm. You're gonna always have some kind of practice to go to or a game or a competition or something like that. So that experience going downstate was incredible. It was wonderful. When did you find out, or how did you find out that a school was interested in you? And so we know that the college that she went to was Union College. And where's that located at?
Barberville, Kentucky.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's down at the bottom of, almost at the bottom of Kentucky.
Like maybe 30 or 45 minutes from the Tennessee border.
Yeah, you see it. If you go in Atlanta, you'll see it right before you cross over to Tennessee and you come back.
Yeah.
You will see. I just couldn't remember off the top of my head what it was. So, I guess what I want to know now is, when did you? You might not remember exactly when. Sometimes people do. Mm-hmm. Where were you when you realized that they were interested in you? Was it a letter you got or
State? My basketball coach was at State, And shortly after that, I think she contacted Coach Sword. And then, so we were downstate, I think in March, and I think I was signing a letter of intent like in April.
That's what's up. So, based off what she saw in the tournament, she wanted you to come. That's what's up.
But I wouldn't go unless I was able to play 2 sports. So, so I wasn't. What I wanted to do was play volleyball and basketball. So I played 2 sports in college. So yeah.
I didn't know that. She was negotiating as a senior.
Right.
Like most people, just whatever. Hey, I just signed. I'm ready to go. She said, "I'm not coming unless I can play volleyball and basketball."
Yes.
I never knew that. Yeah.
Yes.
Who put that determination in you?
I don't think anybody did. I think I don't know if it's. I just want to say I had it. I mean, there was stuff that I wanted to do at an early age. I mean, I just set my mind to it. I mean, at an early age. So it wasn't my mom and dad that, put those, okay, I want you to play this and I want you to do this. I did it, I wanted more and I wanted better. So that's what I did, so.
No circumstance is just like, I got to escape this, so I have to be disciplined enough to get this far or anything like that?
I don't think so. I mean, I always had the family support. If it wasn't from my immediate, like my mom and dad or my aunts and uncles, everybody was so supportive. But I don't think there was any situation that, put me like, yeah, you really need to, get out there and hustle to make this happen. No, I don't think there was any situation or circumstance that.
It was just, it came from you and you just was supported.
Yes.
By it.
Yeah.
So sometimes you don't get that that battery put in your back. It's
right.
just, it comes about from yourself, but people are there to make sure it's help facilitate the dream coming true.
Yeah.
And I can attest to, her mom and her dad, they the bond, and the whole family's the bond for real. Okay, so you said I'm not coming now unless I can play both sports. It was like, okay.
Yeah.
Was it an immediate okay, or was it a little bit of?
Yeah. So the basketball coach had to talk to the volleyball coach, because that was my first year in, was their second year for the program at Union.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So but yeah, I was literally just, can you talk to her, because this is what I want to do. I mean, I know what kind of athlete I am. I'm going to give you 210%.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it was, so I think late July maybe is when I got like, we can do this. We'll get you money. We'll give you a scholarship. Yeah. So, yeah.
So academically, when you went there, what was your major, and was it something in the beginning you ended up changing it, or you knew exactly the course of study that you wanted to go and you stuck with it through the whole 4 years?
Yeah, so I guess I'm like, teeth are like a big thing to me. I think it's the first thing that people see. So I kind of wanted, in the back of my mind, wanted to be a dentist, but I was never good at like science and math and stuff. So, but after the practice, which were 2-a-days when I first got there for volleyball, I was in the training room a lot.
Yeah,
I was sore.
Getting iced up.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I did the conditioning, enough conditioning to get me, but it was another level of, it was a step up from high school. So just 2-a-day practices, I'm like, whoa.
Right.
I thought I was in shape. I could run a mile in 6 minutes, you know what I mean? But yeah, so I was in the training room being stretched. I was icing stuff. So I thought, at that time, I thought that I wasn't going to be able to play sports for the rest of my life, but I wanted to be around sports all my life.
Yeah.
So athletic training was one of my majors. Sports medicine was one of my majors.
Okay.
So I would be there with the athletes, So, but yeah, I mean, with Olympic lifting, you can go as long as you can pick up a barbell.
Yeah.
There's masters athletes who are like 85, 87 that are still doing it.
And what was the scholarship for? Was it for the volleyball or basketball? Both.
Yeah, I was inducted into the Hall of Fame a couple years ago for volleyball, and what I'm doing now with Olympic lifting. So I'm Hall of Famer.
So how do they celebrate you for that, being in the Hall of Fame? What happened?
There was a ceremony, and then the athletes that were inducted, there was a dinner, and we got up and gave like a 3 to probably 5 minute speech. Yeah, so that was like the highlight. Yeah, one of the highlights of my athletic career. Who thought? I mean, they were trying to track me down to let me know that I was being inducted before the ceremony, you know,
Right.
weeks before. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know you was trying to get a hold of me.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you figured, how many years was it past since then? Like,
I graduated in 98 from
you
Union
graduated in
College.
98. And they got in touch. You said 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was just like, you know, I guess elected in, or, you know.
Because you got to be a certain amount of time has to go back
Yes.
before you be eligible
Yes.
for it, right? So,
Yeah.
so as soon as that time came up, you were eligible. It wasn't
Yes.
a thing like you missed and then had to come back.
Right, no.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's some of the highlights of your college career?
Some of the highlights, just competing with like girls from all over the states. Like the setter for my setter in college, she was from Hawaii. You know, so that's all they did was like volleyball. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think just meeting some of the girls from different states. We had Hawaii, we had Michigan, we had Florida. It was just like all of us come together for one common goal, you know, to play sports and to win for our school, you know. But I think I cherish those memories, those bus rides to and from colleges to play. I don't know, just homecoming. I mean, just all of us just hanging out. Because,
Right.
you know, of course, I was on 2 teams. So in the fall, I'm with volleyball girls. In the winter, I'm with basketball girls. You know, it was a long season. But
Yeah.
I think just my experience with all of them. And I learned from them. And me coming in as a freshman when I did go, I was piggybacking. I was following the seniors. Those were the leaders. So I wanted to be behind them. Like, I was scared as hell. Like, running, you know, the coach said you got to run you know, each position had to run a number, like my position, 6-minute mile. I've never done that, but
Right.
because I was scared and didn't know, I followed a senior, so I made it in 6 minutes in a mile. And I'm like,
Right.
oh, I've never done that, you know?
Right.
So just, you know, having the exposure, being around them and learning from them, you know? So I will carry that forever. Yeah.
Do you, what were some of the, because it is Kentucky, so there's a possibility that there could be some racial issues, or there could be some, and then with you being a woman, you know, on top of being someone of color, have you ever? What were some of the difficult things or obstacles? It doesn't even have to be that if that wasn't one of them, but some of the things that you was like, you might not feel like you was going to be able to make it through, but you pushed through and prevailed beyond it. You remember any tough times or tough situations?
I don't think that I experienced anything. I know, like, going down, because you and Sean drove some of my stuff down along with my parents, but I want to say that, you know, we got notified that there was a rally in the town before you got, or a couple towns before you got to my school, but I didn't see any of that. And I can say that I was, for a few years, the only African-American athlete at Union, female.
Wow.
Yeah, so there was no other, you know. I can't go to you and be like, hey, you know, you got any hair grease? You know, you got an oil sheen? You know what I mean? I can go to them, but yeah. So I didn't really have anybody that I could relate to, but still, they were my family, you know. But yeah, but after a few years, there was more African American females that came in for sports, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can't say that I had any racial type situations while I was there, because once again, I was at a school that had, you know, people from all over the world there. So, you know, we didn't know color. We didn't know any of that, you know, so.
Everybody's just bringing their experiences from wherever they come from.
Yes.
And then meshing together, and you learning. Man, because see, I went to college for a little bit, and they messed up. This ain't about me. They messed up some things. I said, bump it out bad, pay my tuition.
Yeah.
And then I went to start rapping. But
Do you rap?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I was just playing.
No? Yes, he can.
No, do you rap?
Me?
oh no, that's why I
No.
look like. I didn't know this.
I wanted to hear something.
I was about to say spit.
No, mine is nonverbal. I do it all with the barbell. That's how I rap. Yeah.
Okay, so she just heard you. I was like, I was like,
No.
I wanted to hear the bars.
yeah, I was like, oh.
No. Oh no.
Oh man. Okay. Cool. So No racial issues or anything
No.
like that. Probably the most difficult things that you had to do to push through was like the actual stuff you were doing. Like you said, I got to run this mile in 6 minutes. Just it's how much would you say doing something physical like that in sports, now lifting, is how much is it mental versus the physical, the physical part of it?
I mean, it's definitely a lot of mental because you have to deal with, knowing the plays and just knowing the plays and also doing what you do in the gym or the weight room and then having to go back to the room to study. So it's just a lot of, and then you got a game the next day, so you got to get this paper turned in, and that was like heavy. And just whatever else was going on, with that particular sport, or if there was anything going on with the team. But yeah, that was the mental part for me. But you just take it one step at a time.
Right.
Yeah.
Were you able to stay eligible all 4 years, or was there a period where you was like, I can't play this week?
Yeah, I was eligible. I mean, we had study table a couple times a week, I think. Yeah, so you had to make sure that you were making the grades, and if you weren't, then coaches are going to get you help and figure out the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what are you doing? There's so many distractions in college. How are you not getting distracted, or are you missing out on parties, stuff you wanted to do that might have been extracurricular? Like, how are you dealing with that?
Being as I was a good girl, and the coaches would punish those who snuck out for parties, who skipped curfew. I did what I was told. Yeah. And there was some that snuck off to go to Tennessee to get tattoos. Coach found out about it, so we had to run suicides. Yeah, 6 a.m.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and then me and my roommate had the nerves. Our alarm didn't go off, so we showed up late.
Oh.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. So I was punished either, and I didn't even do anything,
Right.
but we're considered a team, so yeah, it was stuff like that. I'm like, yeah.
So when did the weightlifting come into play? Did it come into play during college or after college?
So one of my all-time favorite cousins from Richmond, Kentucky, Kevin Miller is his name. He was a couple years older than me, so me being, of course, younger than him, I would kind of follow him. So he was all sports, So I remember when I was in the 7th grade, I was back home in Richmond, and we happened to go up to his old high school, and we were in the weight room. So that 7th grade, whatever the age that is, I forget, but that was the first time I ever touched a weight, basically. So from there, it trickled over to high school, and I remember we had this little universal machine in the field house, just kind of closed off back behind the door. So I was like, asked my coach, I'm like, can I go in there and start doing stuff? I may have not known like totally what I was doing, but I knew that I was doing something. I felt different, you know what I mean? So I was doing that off and on throughout the seasons, and then when I got to college, I basically lived in the weight room. We had recruits coming in to look at the school and talk to the volleyball team, just and I would be one of the ones that took them around campus and stuff like that. I'm wearing cut-off shirts, and they're like, do you work out all the time? Because back then, it didn't take much to see a little bit of bicep, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I was like, no, I just do what what as a team, that's part of your job. You got to go and do, work in the weight room.
Right.
But yeah, I've always loved being in the weight room, and it was part of my job in college, and I'm living it now. So yeah.
So when you graduated from college and you start your adult life, your career, where was the focus? What was the first job, or what was your position in terms of because what you did after college was directly based off of the course that you took, that you took in school, right? So that's because sometimes people graduate and don't do anything that they went to school for. So you actually, after graduation, you actually went into the field that you actually went to school for.
Yeah, so when I graduated, I came back home to Northern Kentucky and got a job at Better Bodies, the original Better Bodies.
Okay.
Yeah, and then and then I needed more money coming in, so I got a job, and I love shoes, gym shoes. So I got a job at Lady Foot Locker.
Oh, I remember that. In Tri-County?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are my first two. I learned a lot from Better Bodies, and then selling shoes. Yeah.
So when did you start crossing over into the professional weightlifting?
It didn't come. I've been in the sport of Olympic lifting since 2015, but doing it like seriously since 2015. I started CrossFit in 2012, 2013. So with CrossFit, you do a lot of Olympic lifts. You do gymnastics, a lot of functional fitness. So since 2012, 2013, I was doing some Olympic lifts, but seriously, 2015 is when I started. Yeah, I had my first competition that year in November, and then 2016 I did a meet. Then I qualified for nationals. I did state, and I went to Puerto Rico, and then I went to Germany from there. So it's been nonstop since 2015. Yeah.
It's been nonstop since high school. Sound like.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this time last year I was in Montreal, Canada, competing for Worlds. So with that, you have people from all over the world, my age, a little bit younger, and a lot older competing, and I have fourth in the world right now. So, yeah.
That's what's up. Fourth in the world.
In my age group, weight class. Yeah.
Okay. And I know a lot of times when I see you post, you will say, like instead of like pounds or LBS or whatever, it'd be like a couple kilos, right? So I'd be like,
2.2 times. Yeah.
So
all the drug dealers know.
I know, right? I know.
Because I'll be like, okay, well then, what is that? So I am one of these people that I'm about to ask you to explain this for. But for people who don't know, the difference between the LBS, the weight, and kilos, how does that, I guess an example of such and such weight is this in kilos.
So like 100 pounds is like 45 kilos. So 1 pound equals 2.2 kilos, basically. Yeah.
You sound like the cartel.
Right. All the drug dealers is like, I get it.
See, I know I just set her up to tell me, so, yeah, you know. It's like, but so there was but when you got out of college and you had those first two jobs, there still was a long stretch of time.
Oh yeah.
In between there until you got into when you were seriously lifting.
Yeah.
So and during that time, what were you were you lifting like just to be active, or you were?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. So on those two jobs, and I left those. I forget where I went right after, but I know that I have coached at Beechwood High School in Fort Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
So I was volleyball and basketball. I had 8th grade volleyball and basketball, and then I assisted with JV and varsity basketball.
Okay.
So, and then from there I went to Holmes, and I was volleyball coach, head volleyball coach, and so I had, JV, varsity JV, freshman, and just some other things going on. But yeah, so throughout that whole time, I'm just like lifting, I was lifting weights. Now I'm a weightlifter.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but in order to stay conditioned and to stay at the level I was in college, I wanted something that was close to that intensity, and that's where CrossFit came in.
Okay.
But before CrossFit, I did like kickboxing, mixed martial arts. I did that. I would run 5Ks, and I would just do like I said, lift weights. Yeah. Just to kind of keep up. But yeah, CrossFit since 2012, 2013. Yeah. So.
It's like I remember the running part.
Yeah, it was a long period. I love running. Yeah.
Okay, because how we we're speaking about it, it can get misinterpreted that there was a long stretch of time between, because you started becoming a power lifter and competing, like you said, you were in your 40s, right?
I was 40 when I started Olympic lifting. Yes.
Yeah, so a lot of people wouldn't think that, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You would start, like, I'm not doing an Olympic lifting or anything like that, but I just 3 years ago started lifting seriously, like, you know what I mean? So, and for me, it was like, why I just started doing this? It's like ridiculous how, like you were saying earlier, it's like therapy.
It is.
How I don't know. It just revitalized you. I guess that's what it is.
Yes.
Because I've always felt like I was like always in shape. I can always pick up a ball and go play, you know, 6, 7, 8 games of basketball. But when you add the strength and conditioning to it, it's different when you get back out on the court. You know, when you might have got being able to get pushed a little bit or whatever, it's kind of like people feel your strength different. So that just went into more. I'm gonna keep lifting it because dude can't move me like he thought he could or whatever. So
I got a quick question.
Go ahead.
Can you kind of talk about, you've been active your whole life,
Yes.
but what are some of the things you had to overcome starting professionally at 40?
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's times that, you know, some workouts that are intense. I can't say, knock on wood, that I've had anything major happen since I have been competing. My number one is safety first. So I'm not gonna like put on more weight on the bar and just like randomly pick it up.
Yeah.
You know, that's just not me. So when I warm up, I'm adding weight gradually. I don't just stick on 200 pounds and go at it. No, I plan on being in this sport for a long time. So I approach everything safely. But I can say that, you know, throughout this journey that I did have like 2 auto accidents back to back. Yeah, so one was October 2017, the other one was February 2018. So just as I was getting like released from the doctor from the first accident, I had another one. So that was a major setback for me mentally. It was just like, I'm stuck. I can't lift anything overhead because I had whiplash. So it was probably, I don't know, 8 weeks, maybe 8-10 weeks, maybe. First one, same, and maybe a little bit longer for the second auto accident, but just not being able to do what I love to do, that was a struggle. But I stayed in the gym. I did what I can do. I had a regular, you know, membership at my regular gym, but I also got a membership at Planet Fitness because I knew I could do a lot more cardio.
Yeah.
You know, even though I couldn't take anything over my head, I could still do the elliptical. I can still row. I can still bicep curl. You know, stuff like that. So that's been like the major things that has happened, and it wasn't even weightlifting related. You know what I mean? It's the auto accidents, and it wasn't major accidents, but it was enough to put me out of the sport for a while. So that's,
And with you being so active, what do you do on downtime? You probably so confused, like, oh God. Like,
so I'm basically here 7 days a week. So I train on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then I have my team Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So I'm here all the time, and sometimes I feel guilty if there's like a load of, like, I know there's laundry, I know there's like meal prepping that I need to do, but I'm here, and because if I'm not here, I just feel like, okay, I'm missing out. You know, there's things I need to be doing, or, you know, but I also know too that I got laundry, I got, you know, run this vacuum, I got to dust, you know what I mean? So some of that has been put on the back burner sometimes, but, you know, I'm trying to balance it all out, plus work full time. So it's a lot. So, and I don't know how I do it some days. But I just get through it.
It probably makes it a little better, easier, I should say, because it's a passion.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So like, you're down, like, everybody keeps, well, you living in the gym. I said, well, I don't know, because it's just like, it's something else that you pick up to where once you start doing it and you start seeing the results, that's addictive. That's addictive.
It is.
And then you gonna make it fit your schedule. It's no way it's not happening. Not unless, like you said, you have an injury, you get sick, accident, or anything like that. So being there, it really feels like a night out. You know what I'm saying? It's like you get the same satisfaction from it.
And I can say, since I've been here, the owner and head coach JD, I just kind of went to him. It's like, hey, I just want to get my legs stronger. You know what I mean? Like, so back squats, front squats. Back squats basically is the foundation of every lift. Snatch, you're squatting.
Okay.
When you clean it, you're squatting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I told him, I was like, I want to get my legs stronger. So he started giving me some of the powerlifting programming. Yeah. So that started, and it was only maybe a couple months, and then he was like, so what about your upper body? And I was like, I just kind of want to focus on my lower body. He was like, so I have upper and lower programming. So I do powerlifting, a powerlifting program, also Olympic weightlifting program. So I have two programs that I follow, and I can tell you it's made a world of a difference. Yeah. It's, it's different machines I'm using.
Right.
Like the reverse hyper, never used that. The inverse curl, never used that. Never even seen those. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's a lot of exposure to these machines, but it's also helping with Olympic lifting. So I'm doing whatever I can to get me stronger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's another 45-year-old, 46-year-old gonna be at the next competition. Yeah. So I got to stay 1 kilo above her. So whatever I can do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
And when you went to the first, where did you go first when you went out of the United States?
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
What year was that?
2016.
2016.
Yes.
So you get to Puerto Rico.
And that was the Pan Am Games, by the way.
Pan Am Games. Yeah, that's right. It was Pan Am. Because sometimes when you hear these words, Olympics, then you can only envision it, but so far, because you only seen it on TV. Right. So when you actually there for the first time, how was that? What was the feeling? Was it a culture shock to go to Puerto Rico for it, or was the whole time was just a blast? It just was a great experience, or was it intimidating? You scared? Like, what was your overall feeling when you got there?
I don't think my mom was kind of worried. She was like, "You going over by yourself?" And da 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 da. I was like, "Mom, the gym helped, fund the ticket. There's a lot of people that came from the community that gave me money for the trip, and it was just like, wow, I made it. I made it. I qualified and I made it to the Pan Am Games.
Right.
And so everybody was just like, whoa, wow. Like, there's people that was at the chiropractor and they were talking about it. This girl, I don't know who she is, but she's going to the Pan Am Games. So that right there was like, wow, you know what I mean? And then the plane ride over, when I get there, I was like, kind of blown away. Get to the hotel overlooked an ocean. I'm like, man. I ain't never seen this.
Right.
I ain't never seen this.
Right.
Yeah, so that whole experience, being over there and just being in that culture, I didn't have a problem. They thought I was Puerto Rican anyway.
Yeah, right.
So, being over there and then linking up with some of my U.S. teammates, it was like a dream come true.
Right.
Yeah, just a whole experience. Going to the training hall to kind of warm up before you get there, and yeah, just competing, and then just hearing, people from Canada, people from Colombia,
Right.
Yeah, the whole experience was like, whoa, yeah. First time being outside. It's still, Puerto Rico is still part of the United States, but just being in that culture, yeah.
Yeah. So, and in that in that Pan Am event, where did you, how did you fare?
Okay, so the way that it works for Olympic lifting then was they went by weight. So I dropped down from 75 kilos down to 69 just so I could have an opportunity to medal.
Okay.
So I was successful. So I weighed in. I was right there where I needed to be. And so it was me and this little girl. Her and I were competing. I think I missed one of my snatches and one of my clean and jerks. And I think our totals were the same. But because her body weight was less than mine, she was a natural 69, and me having to cut in just borderline, she took bronze. So had it been the other way, like it is now, I would have came home for my first international weightlifting meet with a bronze medal. So that was, I was torn up.
I bet.
It looked like it still messed with you a little bit.
No, because the last Pan Am's I did was last year, so I came home with a silver medal. So I was bound and determined to come home with something. And I did. Yeah. So second Pan Am's, came home with silver.
So after the first one,
Mm-hmm.
what was the reasoning they changed the I guess the ruling, not the ruling, but the rules
Yeah.
of it?
I think a lot of that's based off of like the actual Olympics, you know, whatever they're doing. And the Olympics, it's going to be your group of the 20, in between the 20 and 30-year-old people. That's where they're banging right now.
Okay.
So that's the ones you're going to see in the Olympics, the
Right.
actual Olympics.
Right.
So whatever they do at the top, it gets fed down to
trickles
us.
down.
Yes, yes. So that was a rule they changed. You know, there was a rule in place for that. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Puerto Rico was the first one.
Mm.
Then where was this? Well, that was the Pan Ams.
Yes.
So after the Pan Ams, you ended up going to the Olympic one, right? Or
Our Olympics was in Germany. So for the Masters group, our Olympics was in Germany. And once again, that's, you know, any athlete that is an Olympic lifter coming to this event at any age. The youngest is when you're considered a Masters lifter if you're 35 and up.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I would have think masters meant that you lifted a lot, so you was a master.
Right.
But it's all going with the age.
Yes.
With the age.
Yes.
So that plane flight over there, how was that like? And how long?
At that time, it was probably my second or third plane ride. I never really did planes.
Mm-hmm.
Just from Atlanta to Puerto Rico, it's like, whoa, the plane seems smaller. And I'm like, oh, this plane goes down.
Right,
Like,
right,
yeah.
right.
So it was kind of, but there was a couple that was heading to Puerto Rico. So I sat with them. So they kind of mellowed me out.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't realize it, but they kind of, you know,
Yeah.
took my mind off of the plane ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I got a question for
Yes.
you. What's your nutrition like? You said something about meal prepping. It's got to be strict.
Yeah, the closer I get to competitions, is more strict that I get. I actually went up a weight class at the beginning of the year because I wanted to medal at the Arnold. So I went up. So I started at 75. I medaled. That was in 2017. So I got a gold medal then. I medaled last year at the American Open, which was the Arnold. So I medaled at the 81 kilo weight class, gold medal. And this past March, I medaled again, gold, at the 87 kilo weight class. So that was my reason for going up. So now I'm on my way back down. So yeah, I try to meal prep as much as possible. I follow an app called RP, which is Renaissance Periodization. So they count all your macros and how many grams of protein you need to have at each meal, fats and carbs and stuff like that. So I'm following that now, and yeah. So I try to. There's no special diet. I just try to incorporate a lot of fruits and vegetables. Definitely a lot of protein. Yeah, and a lot of water, and of course vitamins and supplements and stuff like that.
So what's a typical day of your meals?
Typical day, it could be like a bagel, a meat and an egg maybe, and then for lunch it might be like a paleo sloppy joe, just ground turkey meat with a lot of seasoning and stuff, and then also with like sweet potato. And then at night it might be just like grilled chicken and a veggie. Yeah. So nothing special. A lot of people think if you're on a diet, then you're eating this way and that way. No, I'm still eating.
Right.
I still got to eat because
Right.
I'm eating to perform. So I
Right.
have to fuel the body. If you don't fuel the body, you're not going to perform. So that's the way I'm geared right now. Yeah.
What's your guilty pleasure?
I
Favorite
haven't
snack?
had any since I started RP back up, but I love like the Smart Pop white cheddar popcorn. I
White
love that. I can eat that as a meal.
So even your guilty pleasure is still clean, kind of.
Well. I live like minutes away from a United Dairy Farmers, and I like I think it's the black raspberry chip.
Oh, okay.
That would be like a scoop or two as a treat. So I did well. I competed yesterday at the Indiana State Weightlifting Championships in Indianapolis. So I haven't celebrated that yet. So it might be ice cream. It might be, Lavetta. I don't know. Just whatever.
So,
goes
and I'm glad you said it because that was one of the things I wrote to make sure I brought it because like she said, she just competed. Well, when y'all see this, it will be a few days from today. But yesterday you competed, and how did that go?
It went well. It went well. So since the quarantine, you know, the gyms was closed. I had a lot of my weights at the house, but living in an apartment, you can only do so much.
Yeah.
So I did what I can do, but I did a lot of cardio. At that time, I was walking a lot.
Okay.
So with that being quarantine and not having the opportunity to slam weights, drop weights, and whatever, I kind of backed off. Not a lot. I haven't backed off on a lot of heavy lifting, but my numbers weren't where they were at the Arnold in March. You know what I mean? I'm gradually getting my way back up. So yesterday I ended with 118 kilos. So that was a 53 kilo snatch and a 65 kilo clean and jerk. So my numbers are going back up. So I think when I ended, I was like maybe 124, 125 at the Arnold.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not far from where I was, but I'm in no rush to get back up there because I got time.
Right.
And plus I'm coaching and stuff like that. So.
Right. Well,
I got a question. My bad. It was just one of the weird questions.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's about to get weird. You say that you don't just add random weights. You make sure you can.
Yeah.
Do you ever worry about prolapsing?
You know what? So we do a lot of accessory work. So to help get us stronger for each lift. So after practice, the main lifts are done, like the main work we do. We'll venture over to do either bicep curls or behind the neck presses or pull-ups or push-ups, whatever it is. We do a lot of accessory work to get you stronger for those lifts. So I know there is a chance of like accidents and stuff, but I think with like the training that I've had and the coaching that I've had, I feel safe enough. If the weight's too heavy, we have the opportunity to either dump the bar forward or dump it backwards to bail.
Right.
So my approach is always safety first. And I have a 9-year-old and a 10-year-old that I work with. And I always, I'm always with them and keep my eye on them. But they know weight gets too heavy or you're off balance, dump it, So, yeah. So I don't even put that in my head. I see it all the time on YouTube or Instagram, so.
That's what made me think of it. I've seen people throwing up on themselves and.
Yeah, well, I have been at meets where, especially with females, we're masters, a lot of us are moms,
Right.
So you take a heavy clean. Some people urinate. It's just part of the sport.
Right.
And it's just treated regular.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. I haven't seen anything other than urine, but I'm sure it's happened.
Right.
But I've never seen it. I've never, experienced it.
Right.
Yeah.
But I imagine like with something like that, this was something I was going to touch on too, or have you touch on, is the culture of the weightlifting community and the environment.
Mm-hmm.
So if something like that will happen,
Mm-hmm.
it's not something where it'd be like somebody would be like immature and be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, yeah, it could happen. No, don't worry about it. They probably more so trying to like, it's all good, we're gonna get this up and keep it moving, as opposed to you probably be,
I'm goofy. I had to ask, man. I seen it happen on YouTube, man. So I had to ask.
No, but here's the thing. Like, the weightlifting community is an awesome, supportive community. If there is a lifter that has like failed like 2 of her lifts, you only get 3 attempts at the snatch. You only get 3 attempts at the clean and jerk, and they take your top number from each lift.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you made the first 2, you missed your last one, you're counted for the second one. The second.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And if you could, real quick, can you kind of describe a clean and jerk and a snatch for people who don't know?
Yeah. Do you want me to jump straight with the bar?
I was
figuring that we could do it after the interview.
I was just saying if you could just describe it.
Oh,
But-
describe
but-
it? All right, so the snatch is it's my favorite lift. It's the most complex. You start at the ground, and your hand, you have a wider grip. So literally, you're bringing the bar from the ground up past the knee to the hip. You shrug your shoulders, high pull, and your punch, and you're landing underneath in a squat. Yeah. The women's bar is 15 kilos, or 33, 35 pounds. I've got a set of 10 kilos, which is 25 pounds. So basically this is like an 85-pound snatch. Okay. 35 kilo, 38 kilo, I think it is, in kilos. But with the snatch, we always line our feet up shoulder width apart. Okay. Snatch grip is always wide. You want to make sure the barbell hits the hip area.
Okay.
So I'm going to hit the hip area before I shrug, I pull, and drop underneath the bar. Okay? So, that was ugly. Without stretching and without being sore, yeah. That was a snatch, so I kind of powered it up. Wasn't the best, but that was a snatch. Yeah.
And when you start, when you first going down, put your hands on the bar.
Yes.
That's where they're gonna stay. It doesn't move at any point. Okay.
Nope. Your hands are pretty much going to stay the same. And I use a hook grip, so thumb goes here and your fingers go over. This is to help secure the bar. So when it comes up, regular grip, sometimes you'll lose it.
Right.
Yeah. Hook grip secures it. Yes.
Why is the stance so far apart? It seems like it'd be easier to do it with like a closer stance, or if your arms.
So your feet, you need your feet shoulder width apart. So when you go down in that squat, you're able to sit down in between your ankles.
Okay.
Yeah. So if your feet are like this,
Yeah.
it's not a lot, and then you're going to be, the balance is not there. Yeah. I'm going to take another one. And that was just a power. So, and then the clean and jerk is 2 parts. You clean it first. Cleans, your grip is a closer grip, kind of closer to your knee, kind of a deadlift grip. But some people might have, just depending on the mobility and flexibility of your shoulders, you might have a wider grip. So you clean it up. Once again, it comes above, past the knee to the hip, comes here, front rack, and then part 2 of that lift is a jerk. So some people may squat jerk it, come up. Some people may split jerk it, and I'm actually a split jerker. Yeah. So, but yeah. Second movement is the clean and jerk. So it's 2 parts. So I'll clean it up. So it's going to be the same thing as the snatch. Feet are always shoulder width apart. This time my grip is going to be closer. So just where the smooth meets the rough, and maybe just a thumb out farther. Get here, clean it up, power it up. Sometimes I move my hands out just to jerk it because of the shoulder mobility. And that was a jerk. Yeah. But yeah, not somebody coming in, we actually start with the red bar, which is the technique bar.
Okay.
It's like 16 pounds versus 30.
Right.
So we get the technique down. We may even do PVC pipe first, and then move to that, and then eventually to that. Yep, that's it.
He ready. You ready, bruh?
We got all that weight over for you.
So now I want to ask you about Tevis weightlifting.
Yes.
So when did you start? When did you start that?
So Tevis Weightlifting Club was established February this year.
Okay.
Yeah, February this year. I'm trying to remember, make sure that it's correct. I'm not sure. Yeah, February of this year. But we actually I actually started it back in October. You know what I mean? So it didn't go official until February, and I wanted to do it on my anniversary, in my anniversary month.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So I got my first athlete in October. Second one came, and then January picked up, February, and then so on. But yeah, and I'm actually teaching and coaching in the elementary schools in Covington. I coach at 9th District and Latonia Elementary. I go there 1 day a week, and I've taught some second graders on up to the 5th grade how to lift. Yeah.
Okay, so well that kind of answers my question. I was going to ask you if most of your clients are they coming in to looking forward to competing, or is this people that's just wanting to be able to just add lifting to their workouts or their lifestyle?
Right. So I have the 9-year-old and a 10-year-old from the elementary school. I did have another one. I did actually have 5 youth lifters. So I have a 9-year-old, 10-year-old from the elementary schools. I have a 17-year-old from Holy Cross. I had her brother who was just here a minute ago.
Okay.
He's a senior at college in Ohio. So he was here for the whole summer. So I have him, and then I have a 50-year-old who is not an athlete, has never been an athlete. But with the way that Olympic lifting works, it's for everybody, you know. It's from the bookworm
Right.
to, you know, the non-athlete to, you know, it's for anybody. So I have a 50-year-old. Then I have 2 other clients who are moms of the kids that train here. They've just decided, you know, while they're here, you know, getting in shape, we might as well too.
Right.
So I have my team that trains Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then I have the moms that come in on the opposite days. Yeah.
Okay.
So they're just looking more of just, you know, their goal is to lose weight, you know, tone and stuff like that.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, and I've taken them through some Olympic lifts. So it's a combination of lifting and also the cardio and stuff like that.
Okay.
What's the pros of lifting like you do? Like if you had to sell it to somebody else, the reasons that you should do it. What's some of the?
The reasons you should do it, because it'll keep you from going to the doctors. Yeah, this is therapy. If you think about it, if you listen to like the news, or if you're on YouTube, or if you know Google whatever, you see that a lot of times when a person changes their lifestyle, and like I said, it doesn't even have to be a diet. If you take something out of your usual that you usually do, like one of my moms, she said she drank like 1.5 liters of pop every day.
Right.
I was like, we're gonna start with that. Get that out of there. I'm no nutritionist, but I'm only guiding them as my experience with all of this.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of people that are like, you know, maybe a little overweight, just a little bit, and doesn't have an active lifestyle, change that up a little bit. Start coming once or twice to the gym. Start taking some of the things out of your normal routine what you eat. It changes a lot. And also, a lot of people have changed so much that the medicines that they're on,
Right.
high blood pressure medicine, some people are diabetic. A lot of that, you come off of that. You change a few things that you normally do on a daily, it makes a big difference. So to me, this is therapy. This is, you know, I'm not like, you know, a violent or, you know, confrontational person, but this is keeping me from, you know, cussing people out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Take it all out here.
Right.
Leave it right here in the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cry. You come in the gym and cry.
Yeah.
Boy, I be.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah.
Especially if you ain't nobody in there.
Yeah.
You just let it out.
Yeah.
Yo, man, what's going on? It's your grandma's boyfriend, 6 from the Now I'm Talking About Radio show. Check out new episodes on our YouTube channel. Now I'm Talking About Radio. NOMTOMBOUT. Do it now before I put hands and feet on you, cuz.